This might be the most important change to NBA 2K25, and if done right, this will bring a whole new level of variety to the game.
I can't believe how you've changed.
Wang has finally been released from that hyperbolic time chamber he's been in, and he's been tweeting at over 9,000 power level ever since. So to make sure we don't miss out on any of the good gameplay tidbits, I'm gonna wrap this all up in one video so you know exactly what to expect for NBA 2K25. But before we get into his tweets, I need you to do a couple things. Go ahead and like this video, comment down below what's your most excited feature that you're looking forward to in NBA 2K25. And while you're here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your post notifications so you don't miss out on any of the NBA 2K25 news. Now that we got that all out the way, let's see what Mike Wang gotta say. Starting off strong, the first question that he was asked was about the new feature, rhythm shooting. Swish IQ asks, is rhythm shooting with the right stick going to have a bigger green window than the regular shooting button? Mike said compared to one-to-one, they work very differently, but because rhythm shooting takes more skill to master, there's going to be a higher upside for making shots. He also followed up in the NBA 2K Discord about how shot feedback works for rhythm shooting. When rhythm shooting, there are two main factors to consider: push timing and tempo. Push timing is the point you start to move the pro stick, which is what you want to do at the moment your shot reaches a set point. And then tempo is the speed in which you move the pro stick to the opposite side of your original throw. The goal is to finish the stick deflection opposite exactly to match the point of the ball releasing from the player's fingertips. The timing is slower than what you would normally see if you were using the dunk meter. And as you guys know, it does not match your shooting profile. If you have a slower shooter like Kyle Anderson or Nikola Jokic, you're gonna have to take their slower jump shot into consideration. But Mike Wang said it's gonna pay off. You're gonna have a higher shooting percentage than you would if you were just using the regular shooting button. And this question was asked from the people at NBA 2K Lab, so I'm sure they're gonna break down the numbers for us to see which timing would be more of an advantage. The next questions were about the shot timing profiles that are new to NBA 2K25. LL Kool-Aid from Twitter said, Mike, I would love to better understand the shot timing profile concept. With the low risk reward, is that confirming whites to go in, but only when mistimed and wide open? That's actually an excellent question. He answers saying, with low risk reward, you can still make shot if your timing is slightly off, aka sounds like it's a yes. But the bonus for good timing is much smaller. With high, the green window is larger with a bigger bonus, but there is no margin for error if you miss it. I actually want more clarification on what that means, because if there's a green window and it's pure, which is what it was in NBA 2K24, if you hit it in general, you should be able to make it. My question is, does that mean that greens have the potential to miss this year? He followed up by saying, if you're terrible at shot timing, low will let you be somewhat competent if you take high IQ shots, but will actually handicap you if you're great at shot timing. So I know that a lot of people were upset or trying to figure out what would be the reason to switch to high risk shot timing. I need a little bit more numbers that come with that. I would prefer 2K do it, but if 2K Labs has to tell us exactly what that means, either way would work. They followed up in Discord asking about the default shooting profile for NBA 2K25, and it's based on the difficulty. So if you're from rookie to pro, it'll be by default low. All-star to superstar, it'll be on normal. And for Hall of Fame, it's going to be set by default to high risk. And they did confirm that real player percentage is not available at all online, which is a good thing. Savon Diamante asks, how does height factor into shot contests this year? And Mike confirmed that the interior and perimeter rating, as well as your height, factor more into the contest calculation this year. Hopefully that means jump shots like Patty Mills and T-Mac have higher contest rates if you have a higher perimeter and height. Time will tell. Iggy Mo asks, does jump, set point, push, and release affect rhythm shooting? And as we said before, rhythm shooting is its own timing. Rhythm shooting goes based on whatever the natural jump shot timing is for the animation. So if you have a slower shooter like Kyle Anderson or Nikola Jokic, you have to follow their natural timing. Pokedeska, as in the Discord, have there been any improvement to physics when two people clash in the air? Mike confirmed the physics team has spent a lot of time improving in-air collisions to make them more reliable and to maintain players' momentum and velocity better. We know in NBA 2K24, if you hit somebody in the air, a lot of times it just took you out of the animation and made you change to a layup, which was completely unrealistic to what you see in real life. Keeping it along with shooting, there were several questions about the new shot canceling feature. First one said, what is the difference between the new shot canceling feature and canceling out of steps backs in previous years? He said the main difference between this year's shot canceling and past versions is that you can break out at any point of the jump shot, as long as it's before the player gathers with two hands. Also, the new dribble engine handles the transitions dynamically, which looks and feels much smoother than the pre-scripted animations. The second part of shot canceling has to do with the Goto Shots. They wanted to know what types of shots could you expect to see in those animation packages. And surprisingly, it said it has a lot of different combinations: attacking to the basket, escape moves side to side, step back jumpers. It's going to be similar to what the player does in real life. For example, we know Jason Tatum usually does a sidestep pull up for his go-to shot. Kevin Durant usually does the double hesitation to pull up from the mid-range. Think of whatever your favorite go-to player's move is, it's probably going to emulate that type of shot. But the main thing when it comes to dribbling is that all of those shots have the ability to be canceled. So whether you're using the sidestep for Jason Tatum, whether you're using the double hesitation, you can fake like you're gonna shoot it and blow by them depending on how the defense reacts. As a person who enjoys the art of dribbling, this gives so many possibilities to some of the amazing dribblers in the 2K community like Statistics, Steezo. I'm hoping that it actually feels smooth and dynamic. I like it, but y'all let me know in the comments how you're feeling about this shot canceling information. There were a bunch of questions about animation specifically, so I thought I'll just lump them all here together. First one was about layups. Are there any new ones added? Wang confirmed that's about 1,500 new pro play layups and new packages like SGA, Kawhi, Maxi, Monk, Reeves, Vucevic, Wemby, amongst others. Speaking of layups, somebody asked about scoop layups. We know they were a bit OP this year. I wasn't mad at it, but Mike Wang said that the quick scoop layups got a small nerf to better balance the risk reward from using them. I hope that also applies to floaters, because the Devin Booker floater was OP. I just want to make sure though it's balanced, because this is the first year outside of 2K20 where it felt like you could still dominate a game inside without having a dunk. In addition, Mike Wang further broke down those 9,000 new animations. He said there's 14,600 in total, with 1,500 being dribble sequences, 1,100 being shots, 1,300 being motion sequences, 800 rebounds, 1,000 passes, 434 dunks, 550 blocks, and 1,110 layups. Sounds like a bunch of new animations being added. On Twitter, he confirmed that people like Jamal Murray and Kevin Durant's jump shot was updated. 2K Labs put out today that Luka Doncic's shot is slightly changed. I just hope that means with the retuning of these animations and that we're going into the second year of using Pro Play, that there are more usable and variety of animations that we should see online. He also confirmed on Twitter that dribble styles have been increased from 25 to 37 and that they're more authentic this year. Last year's dribble style had 4 or 5 unique animations per style. 2K25's dribble style has 20 to 40 unique pro play sequences for that person. Hopefully that means next year when you speed boost with the ball, you're not just getting the same quick burst animation, which is super easy for locks to read. It means that we're gonna get more variety in what dribble styles are gonna be viable, not only on offline casual play, but in competitive play. Speaking of dribbling, Mike Wang gave more details as to how the dribbling engine works. In previous years, you were able to combo the left stick and right stick to do certain dribble animations like the fat stop, sham god, etc. This year, according to Mike Wang, all advanced dribble mechanics are moved to the right stick. So that makes me think what new dribble combinations they're gonna be in the game, because in that second tweet, he also said dribble movement is different. Launches, turns, stops, and dribble style can have a big effect on that field too. So my question is how, if everything is moved to the right stick, what's the combinations to do sham gods? What's the combo to do momentum dribbles and behind the backs? There's so many advanced dribble moves that utilize both sticks. And does that mean the left stick is only used now to move around the court? Dribble heads, it sounds like you're gonna have to get in and lab. I'm definitely gonna be tapping into people like Splash, Statistics, all the ISO gods on YouTube to try to figure out what's going to be the new feel to do some of these combinations we're used to. One of the main features I was excited about was the new defensive cutoff feature as a lock. With that though, he said that you have to hold intense defense and flick the right stick to do the cutoff move. As somebody who uses right stick ripper, in order to do that now, you have to let go of L2. So for us defensive locks, you're gonna have to make a change as well. Next question was about lethal zones. We know anytime you have a hot zone, you're going to get a slight boost to your shooting percentage. Lethal zones are designed a little bit differently. Instead of automatically working on 2 zone and it lasting 1 week, there's 3 different versions and options to choose from. For 1 week, you get 1 zone. For 2 weeks, you get 2 zones. For 3 weeks, you get 3 zones. And for the 3-week version, you have to face off against lethal shooter in order for it to capitalize. Lethal zones are a major deal to shooters, so I wonder how difficult it will be to get those 3 weeks lethal zones, and if it's something that you can live without in playing competitive and non-competitive. Now, one of the changes that I am personally sad about is the bounce ooping. Y'all know I'm the bounce oop queen. I throw bounce oops a lot, and it looks like it's going to happen organically based on just throwing up oops, and they've changed that to where if you're trying to do a self oop, you use X and square. I don't personally like this change because I like the ability to manually choose to do a bounce oop, but it's a change nonetheless. Finally, we may be able to contest post players because it says there have been changes made to the post defense. Post fades and hooks now use a different set of contest logic than normal shots, which it's crazy to me that it already didn't do that in the beginning. It says the new logic better simulates how shooting out of the post is in real life and puts more of the make versus miss shooting ability time an inherently more difficult shot. Defenders will still want to get a hand up or jump to contest to make it tougher for the shooter though. Post scoring has been OP since last generation. Now there's a new defensive logic to that. So the people who abuse post hooking, we know what it is on the 2s in park and the 1s court in stage. Y'all should finally have a chance to defend against these overpowered post scorers. Speaking of post scoring, someone asked, will you need post control attribute to score post fades? Wang basically said, no, post fades are made specifically based on your shot ratings close to mid badges. Post control is more for post moves. So keep that in mind when you're creating your build. For my people who play my team out there, the off-ball defense has an epidemic, especially since in NBA 2K24, the AI were the best players on the court. They were Hall of Fame defenders, Hall of Fame shooters. They did everything. This year, there's no explicit penalty for playing off ball, but he does says that user-controlled defenders get a slice boost to their contest scores compared to their AI teammates. And the user can also take advantage of the defensive cutoff mechanic to make more jam ups and fumbles to the ball handler. AIs have perception delays so that based on their ratings, they are less reactive and give up driving lanes. All I'm saying is I hope there's a balance with that. I just hope that doesn't mean when you're playing rec or you're playing a mode that requires other teammates and you get stuck with an AI, that AI now becomes a defensive liability like it was in NBA 2K23, where you can just shoot over the AI and it was no contest anytime. When the game drops, that's something that I'm going to be looking for specifically. For my competitive players, there should be a reason to rejoice because we know how OP it was to jab step in the paint and use the standing dunk meter. They've taken that ability away. You can no longer jab step in the paint. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm hoping they also retune the interior defense and the standing dunk meter as a whole because standing dunk was incredibly OP in 2K24. So with those 2 changes, I'm hoping skill is brought back to interior play. I asked Wang about layup and dunk timing because we know the dunk meter was incredibly overpowered depending on where the defender was. And the layup meter was super forgiving, especially for those taller builds. Mike said that layup timing is optional and disabled by default, but you get an advantage if you have it on. Main portion of that is that the dunk meter logic has been improved, so instead of the window size being determined at the start of the dunk. It dynamically adjusts throughout the entire dunk sequence to better reflect defensive impact. Thank you, because we all know how overpowered John Wall into a standing dunk was. So some of y'all might have to readjust to what happens in NBA 2K25. I also asked Mike if the new cutoff feature uses adrenaline for the defensive side of the ball, and apparently it doesn't. So you guards, be very afraid. And every year we get the same question about shooting. What would be the lowest 3-point rating in which you can shoot consistently? He didn't give a clear answer, but he did say that this year's shot ratings play a larger role. He says you can compensate to some degree if you're really good at shot timing or rhythm shooting, but most people are going to need higher ratings this year to shoot at last year's clip. I gotta see it to believe it. We know last year you got the badges that you needed to shoot at a high rate if you had a high midi. So first week, I'm definitely gonna test to see what I can actually get away with in the game. You also have instant green animations back if you have the simple feedback on, but when you have full feedback with coverage on, it's going to have delayed greens. Last but certainly not least, there was a question about the court to player model ratio. We know that because the player models in NBA 2K24 were big, the spacing or the court was extremely small, which allowed zones to be dominant in 5v5 play. This year, Mike says they have finally adjusted the size from player to court, so it'll give more room to operate for the offense and defense. They also changed spacing mechanics so that now the AI in my team will not cut when you have a wide open lane. This could be huge. If the spacing is good in NBA 2K25, we might finally see different play styles dominate 5v5 play. In rec, you're either seeing 5 out or PNR. Not talking about the people who just run around in circles on the court. That isn't reflective of what you actually see in the NBA. You have some inside out teams. You have some post dominant teams. You have people who ISO and make changes in the mid range. But in NBA 2K, you could never do that. People are going to collapse immediately, and as somebody who's good at defense, I'm literally able to guard 3 different positions by standing in one sweet spot on the floor. This might be the most important change to NBA 2K25, and if done right, this will bring a whole new level of variety to the game. That's gonna do it for all the gameplay information we have thus far. As Mike Wang continues to tweet, I will give update videos periodically. As you know, every single week up to the launch, we're going to get some type of information. This week, we're getting my career and my player builder info super early. So anytime Mike Wang has some relevant tweets, I'll add it to those videos. Or if you want to check out my shorts, they'll probably be there too. But I appreciate all of y'all for tuning in. You can find me under all of my socials under BOOMBOOM. And we're definitely going to be back this week talking about the My Career news. Plus this whole comp versus sim debate. We got to nip this in the bud right now. Judge Boomy needs to get involved. But in the meantime, in between time, if you want to hear me talk about that, hit that subscribe button. Turn on your post notifications because it's sure to be a crazy video. But on that note, I'ma see all y'all in the next one. Good night.